Welcome back to the SimGeeks podcast. We are your hosts, William Belk and David Shablock. We are joined here today by immediate past president of the Society of Simulation, Juli Maxworthy, and our president-elect, Jayne Smitten. So, Jayne, I'll start with you. Why don't you give us a quick rundown of who you are, where you came from, and how you got to be where you're at now with the Society?
Okay, well, currently I'm with the Hawaii Pacific University. I'm the Associate Dean and Professor, as well as the Interim Masters of Public Health Chair. And actually wearing a lot of different hats. We're in a transformation area that has to do with our new healthcare disciplines that are adding on a need for simulation in the world of education. My background, though, has led me here because I've been involved with simulation for many, many moons, and I am, as you mentioned, a president-elect, and I'm looking so forward to this coming year.
And Juli, what about you?
Well, thanks for having us. I am Juli Maxworthy. I am an associate professor at the University of San Francisco. I have been in simulation since the late 70s. There's a little story there. I was a Boy Scout before I was a Girl Scout, and in preparation for 911 being rolled out, they garnered us to help. We got melaged up and stuck out in an industrial park and were triaged. I got several helicopter rides, unbeknownst to my parents, because back then you didn't need consent. They were just glad to get rid of us on Saturdays. And it was melaged, and I've used it throughout my practice. I was in administration. My last clinical role was VP of Quality and Risk for a health system in California. And then I've been an academic at the University of San Francisco since that time. I'm just finishing up a 7-year term. I've been everything but secretary for the board of directors at SSH. So this meeting is bittersweet, but I'm looking forward to having a bit more time on my schedule to actually give more presentations and spend more time with my peeps, my sim peep.
You know, I make a similar joke. When I was a kid, I was the mannequin arm, the IV arm, whatever I had to be for my parents when they were teaching EMTs and intermediates. So, lots of, inexperienced providers poking holes in me when I was a kid, back when the hospital service they were at couldn't afford IV arms. So I've been involved in simulation since long before I knew what that was too. So
that's a great story.
I got lots of really bad stories too. Rural volunteer ambulance service, all of their training took place in the hospital cafeteria. So not exactly the formal education we see now for paramedics and EMTs, but
I bet even as a kid, you understood what repetitive practice could do.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because I always swore I was never going to follow my parents' footprints. Then I become a paramedic, and I start working in EMS, and here I am in simulation. So yeah, I'm sure it had some impact on me. So guys, you wanted to come on here today. We wanted to talk about some mentorship, the importance of mentorship. Both of you have been in the society a long time. I'm sure you've got plenty of people that you've both learned from as well as helped taught over the years. So kick us off with that. What do we want to talk about?
Well, firstly, because we've been in various roles, Juli will address the roles she's been in. I came in as an at-large board director. My background was in nursing, but I've always been involved with the medical community and allied health community. So it's been a journey and learning together with the whole idea of simulation. And in doing that, we all have to have our roles of passing on what we learn and mentoring others. And so one of the areas, obviously, first of all, is in the board relationships and what we can do for other members of the board, leadership roles and how we can do mentoring there. But it extends out to so many different areas. Even with the Sim Mentors program, that has been very successful and it's an incredible need, and it's utilized, and we need to have more members involved in that so that we can also spread, the talent and the capability of learning more about simulation in the world of healthcare.
So I got into simulation through, like I said, early days, but I formally got involved with SSH through KT Waxman. We're in grad school together, and you probably have already interviewed her once or twice.
We actually haven't had Kate. We've been planning it. It just hasn't happened yet.
I can help. Anyway, we were in our doctoral program together, and she was an early member of the society, and they were getting the accreditation program going. And she says they need, and I've done a lot of work in regulatory. So she asked me, can you, they're interested in finding some reviewers. So as I've done with many things, I deal with chronic imposter syndrome and I live with it. I just said, yes, sure. And so I got connected with Janice Palaganis and was one of the very first reviewers. And I took on the role of accreditation chair, did that. And one thing led to another. And I just kept saying yes and getting more and more involved and getting more out of it than I was putting in. And then through Janice, we were on a site review many years ago in Hawaii. And she was starting to think about doing the book, Defining Excellence in Simulation Programs. And she just wanted it.
Good book.
Well, it has multiple purposes. It's the go-to. It's the only endorsed book by the Society, and it's a great doorstop. Because the second edition is almost 1,000 pages. And, Chad was part of the team, and he's one of my favorite people. And I miss him terribly, and every time I come here, I get a little teary just thinking about him because he was one in a million. And so we did the book together, and our goal, just to let some of your listeners know, with every edition, we bring in new people because it's part of what we need to do to move us all forward is to bring the young, best and brightest and give them an opportunity to publish because that gives you other opportunities. So we stand on the shoulders of those that went before us, and I've got some pretty big shoulders. It's just, and so on the board level, it's been wonderful working with Jayne. And, a lot of people may not realize this, but as Ps, we meet almost weekly just to make sure that we're on the same page. Yes?
Going back to what you were saying, as one of those new people that was invited in, I want to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Because because we do it as teams. There's a lot of personal growth. And we act as editors, and a lot of people don't realize that we don't make a penny. All the proceeds go. You get an ebook, and all the proceeds go to the Society.
It was a lovely experience, and I was very, very fortunate to be part of it, and thank you.
Yeah, so for anybody who's interested, they can always contact us. Haru will probably be first editor because we rotate it, so and Chad will always be listed. So it's just one of those ways, and to me, all that kind of boils up to why I'm involved in this organization and willing to take, because it's all about your free time and what you choose to do with it. And I have gotten so much out of being involved with this organization from that perspective. So
I'm just thinking further in regards to the idea of mentoring and the mentorship program and the mentorship that we've had even doing with our accreditation. Chad was my mentor.
Yes.
And I would have not learned nearly what I could have or what I did, obviously, based on what he knew because he was one of the leads. And just, not only for the accreditation, but the credentialing and having involvement in that, development of that, working with the people that are actually doing the credential workshops. It's a matter of a lot of the membership getting involved with the different committees, the ones that interest them, and then ensuring that they have somebody who's a lead or someone that they can refer to as a sage from that area to help them and guide them as they go through some of these wonderful, and they are opportunities. They really learn a lot.
SimConnect is a great way to connect. And a lot of people are like, oh, there's so much going on there. Yes, there is. But you put a question out there, you'll get many more responses than you ever expected. And that's the community of practice that we exist in. And because of that, we do make ourselves better. And that's a great way to get started and find a mentor.
Exactly. And we've had a whole episode on networking, mentorship, not as much mentorship, but we've talked about mentorship a lot and how important it is. I've been involved in some of the informal and the formal mentorships, and it's you get as much out of it as you put into it. And we're saying the mentor and the mentee. And my favorite, and I've said this 100 times, my favorite part of the industry is how collaborative, how we're inclusive, and we want to help each other, and we want to share that knowledge. Nobody wants to keep knowledge and keep it from everybody, so we love to help each other, and that is my favorite part of this industry. More than all the fun toys, it's the networking.
Oh, most definitely. And the connections.
Yes.
I mean, I have been just so excited. I mean, last year we had a little over 2,000 people, and there was the brave souls that are willing to come despite Omicron. But we're
breaking all the records.
We are breaking all the records, and because people want to get back, and I haven't seen some of these people for 3 years, and the hugs and just everybody just being so glad we're together. And again, and I love that everybody introduces typically themselves by their first name. The other stuff doesn't matter because you're here. Everybody has a place. Everybody's valued, and if you're not, somebody's going to call you on it. And it's in a way that's collaborative, and we've built a safe container in this field in many ways.
So what advice do you guys have if someone's just getting started either in simulation or just joining the society? Maybe they haven't, don't have the budget or whatever to come out to the actual conferences, but they want to get involved. who do they reach out to? How do they find that mentor? How do they find somebody to help guide them through all this? Because there's a lot here. I mean, every time I come to one of these events, I learn about some committee or some thing we have going on that I haven't known about, you know? So how do we encourage new people to get involved, and how do we get them to seek somebody out to, you know, kind of take them under the wing?
Well, I think first and foremost, they should come up with what they want to do as far as a priority in their own mind. Pick one or two or three and really focus on that and reach out to any one of us. We, as even leaders in the area, can direct them to the right people or the area that they are interested in or who they need to speak with to further their own interests in the area of simulation. I mean, the world's an oyster.
Yes, and so I'll just share a quick story. I teach DMP in a DMP program. A former student of mine, she must have graduated, 7-8 years ago, and she's now a director of a program, an RN to BSN program up in Humboldt County, Northern California. Anyway, she's building a simulation center, and so she reached out to me and said, I know you know people, help me, because she wanted to do it right on the front end. So I've connected her with some folks, and then she decided at the very last minute to come to IMSH. And I said, well, I have a pull-out bed. So she's staying with me in my room.
That's fantastic.
And she's having an amazing experience. She feels like she's being hit with a tsunami.
It is a lot.
Especially for somebody who's really very, very new to the field. But what's lovely is to see it through her eyes.
Yeah.
So that fills my cup up because, I'm exposing her. But that's how we pay it forward. Is, I've got a couch, come on. And she's like, really? I said, of course.
It's funny because, for new people not used to how collaborative, how inclusive, how we're like, no, really, you come over here. And, I remember the first time I met you, it's like, it's the President Maxworthy, and I don't know. And you were like, really, get over here, let's talk. And that is how everybody in this industry, for the most part, is. I mean,
Yes.
you get some people here and there, and we quickly usher them out the door because it's lovely. But like you're saying, for somebody like that that's new, it can be a little overwhelming. Or it's like, no, you're not really going to you're just being nice. No, that's really how we are.
Yes, and she's been the greatest roommate. She folds her bed up every day, but she's been great because she's so appreciative of the fact. And I know once she gets her simulation center started, she'll be contributing.
Yes.
So I know she's brilliant. So I know Kim's going to be doing some great work, and we'll all benefit from it.
That's great.
So that's how we do it.
Right on. Well, we really appreciate you guys coming out. I know you've kind of been bounced around the other tables. You guys have been doing this for a while. You've had nothing but nonstop meetings for the entire week that you're here and trying to run around. I hope you have some time to relax and enjoy yourselves. Any parting thoughts? Anything you want to throw out there to our listeners, to the simulation community as a whole?
I'll start with say yes. That's how you get involved.
Yes.
People you don't stand in the wings. Don't think you don't know what you don't know. And as you get into this field, you realize there's even more that you don't know. But if you don't start with a step and fail often, but you're in a place that has a big net, and we all want to help each other.
It's funny how we are in an industry of acceptable failure. That is what our jobs are all about, mitigating it and making it acceptable. And yet we do this day in, day out with simulation, and then we get afraid. We're like, no, I don't want to fail over there. What? This is what industry we're in. Come on. So yeah, I love that.
And I think keep on simulating, and
Yep.
we're in just the tip of the iceberg for so many things and adventures in the future here. So thank you.
And we're very fortunate to have Jayne at the helm. She's amazing. She's so kind and has been in this field for so long. We're very fortunate to have her at the helm.
Jayne, we'll have to get in touch with you here shortly and do what we did to Haru, and that's just let you lay out your plan for the next 12 months. Let us know what we should expect, and we just need to find a time to get together and do that, because I think a lot of people would appreciate it.
Sure.
I was just going to say, I'm going to formally say we need to have you on, and we need you as well. So we need your separate time as well.
Anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
Then let's try to make time where we can both have you on, on your own 15. So
Absolutely.
Fabulous.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.